Hi Aries, here's a general look at your solar chart for September 2012, and this month I think that you're going to be shifting from one stretch of road to the next, but along the way there's going to be a lot of practical considerations, and you'll get there's the potential anyway for you to get a lot done. Until the 23rd, the Sun is in an area of your solar chart which is about details. I mean, some of them can be very niggly, or others can be things that have just been left on the side, you know, in the corner previously. So dealing with getting to grips with those sorts of details, but also it's about work. It's about daily tasks, chores, you know, your employment, colleagues. But also it can be about health as well, and it can mean that something minor or something major is going on. The Sun is only in this area until the 23rd, though, remember. However, where your ruling planet is, Mars, is in another area to do with its deeper issues for some of you, or that you will be dealing with those sorts of issues that can easily push your buttons, really, and make you feel, you know, touchier. So that can be about, you know, just about a billion things, but that's for you to know. However, it does also mean that you can crack it, as it were, get it done, get it sorted, and move on, because where your ruling planet is very much about dealing with the what is, and then that opens the gates for moving forwards into the what might be, or what will be, in fact. So getting back to the Sun, so the Sun is in this maintenance orientated area, whether that's external maintenance with sort of repairs, or you applying your skills, you know, and using your skills, or learning new skills, or whether it's internal maintenance, whether it's to do with yourself, you know, your body, your feelings, even. It can be your spiritual work, if it's like that. It can be all sorts of things. But even though Mars and the Sun are in these sorts of areas for you this month, the position of Venus is actually, after the first week, is a lot lighter, and so I think that that's the saving grace here, because this is the oil. This is the oil that is going to help the wheels turn better, and the area of flow, the area of more ease, is going to be in the first week to do with family or property. It can be property matters or family matters, but close relationships anyway, and in the neighborhood as well, in the locality, to do with family, to do with background. It can be to do with tradition as well, to do with your past, but very much it's a time to benefit through family, or through property even, and just maybe appreciating more where you are and what you've got around you, and making maybe the most, you know, really feeling a value in the space you're in, whether that is at home or whether that is, you know, in another location temporarily. But you feeling a support coming from that in the first week. And definitely the area of more ease and flow there is to link with the beauties of nature as well, and really, you know, take a breath of appreciation there. And some of you could be getting quite busy with a space inside or outside. But then Venus moves from the 7th into an area which is, I call the house of fun, but it can mean that some of you have more connection with young people, children, or it can mean that you have more access to entertaining activities, leisure activities, hobby activities maybe, also pets, animals, pets, but also for some of you, it can mean that more romance is in your life, and you're sharing admiring glances with someone, ideally. But it might also just mean that there is a presence in your life which is putting you center stage, which is making you feel valued, you feel your worth, and you feeling your power. For whatever it is you're doing your thing. So you may be doing your thing in a way which is appreciated and even admired by others, but definitely a time to sort of, from the first week onwards, to have a laugh along the way, no matter what's going on with the sun there. The sun in this very practical, let's roll up our sleeves and get this job done sort of area here. It's quite serious area in many ways, and also Mars in the other area where, there'll be a lot of stuff going on inside of you probably, and it'll kind of bubble up to the surface every now and again. But the Venus position is the house in, or the houses in your solar chart, where if you give more attention to those areas there, then they're easing things, they're oiling the wheels. Until the 17th, Mercury is going to be chiming in with the position of the Sun, and that may mean that your mind is focused upon the to-do list. So many of us live in our minds anyway, in this very left brain orientated society we live in, all sort of logically thinking, whether you're left or right-handed, but and it's very much that your mind will be focused on the daily duties or the daily chores and catching up with things. Maybe some of you are having more chattier time with work colleagues or with service providers, whatever that service is about, plumbing or a medical person, or a car mechanic, and definitely having a lot more interaction in that sort of area there, but also related, centered around health. As I said before, could be a possibility, and that can be yours or another's. And then from the 17th, Mercury moves, and that into an area to do with close relationships, whether they are personal ones or professional ones, fleeting ones or long-term ones, and those sorts of collaborations are highlighted, one-to-one, kind of bouncing ideas between you, playing with ideas. And you'll probably be quite interested and relieved at somebody else's take on something, or less than impressed. But at least it gives you the chance to clarify, your thinking on the subject, whatever the subject is. Whether to do an oil change on the car or whether to have your tonsils out. It can be those sorts of things. But at least it helps you to get straight and get organized, and with basic stuff, which is about a little bit of what this month is about. And you yourself as well, Aries, could be looked upon as the information giver or the go-between or the guide at this time. So you're going to get your gardens sorted out. You're going to start making plans for next year, maybe some of you, and how you can maximize and economize through what you can get out of your little patch of ground, whether it's pots on the windowsill or whether it's actually land outside. All of that would be a really good idea. Or maybe it's something to do with work, to do with your 9 to 5. Maybe it's something like that. Now Mars is your ruling planet until early October. Mars is going to be helping you to change gears internally and externally. You'll be processing hopes and fears, some of you, but you'll also be tending to keep the lid on things whilst you're doing this weighing up. Now, finances and property or certain contracts or agreements could be an area where you are giving your attention, but you're having to tread with extra care. In other ways, there can be the feeling that you are under somebody's thumb. So that can be somebody you know, or some sort of anonymous, faceless outside agency. But it may mean that their regulations, if it is an outside agency, their rules, where there's like an exchange of resource, you give them something, they give you something, but remember, there's never a free lunch. And you've got to rely on that resource. So that kind of thing is going on, or potentially could be going on, and you've got to think that through carefully. Or it may be somebody and that somebody you're doing like a mutual exchange, or it can be like somebody touches your feelings very deeply, and you've got this sort of almost like moral. You might be weighing up things from a moral obligation point of view. It could be, and you want to do the right thing. And also, the fourth thing on the list, in a general sense that it might be, is that actually this is a very sizzly time for you and someone, because this position of Mars can mean passionate feelings in a relationship, or both of you are very, very keen, enthusiastic and passionate about something together. Maybe it's each other, and particularly after the first week that could be a distinct possibility. And whether that relationship is platonic or not, it can be, like as I say, a sizzly time, a time when you feel like pooling with somebody, or throwing your energy in with someone, and it could be a joint project, it could be a venture, or it might be something that is deeper than that, and is going to in some way help you traverse one stretch of the river to the next, or one stretch of road to the next. So whatever the reasons are, you may be just weighing the pros and cons inwardly, and maybe, as I say, keeping your cards close to your chest in a way. And it might be that you are striving to meet another's expectations, and that can be around, as I said earlier, finances, property, a space. But it can also be debts, and it can be debts due or owed to you. Better to have the latter, really, if you're going to get paid back, that is. So feelings are definitely going to be, very, very much sort of inward and moving inwardly, and you might be touchier, it might be easier to push a button because you're just feeling a bit more sensitive. And you've got to tread a fine line with certain people for certain reasons, and be a little bit more guarded. However, your intuition, Aries, which is down in your gut area, will be working well at this time where Mars is, and you can rely on that gut knowing. So just don't be hasty with whatever it is. Sleep on it. Feel what you feel. Feel what your much wiser gut knows about something, and that will shine the light on the path before you. That's the best advice I can think. And however it's working for you, a gear change is going to be made, and this will be a gear change externally, maybe materially, financially, or around property, or it can be a gear change that the writing's on the wall. It's time for you to let go of an old way, an old standpoint, an old habit as well, and make space for moving into the new time. Make space for the new birth. Now Jupiter's long transit, which is written up on my website, just mentioned, is expanding your world in the area of communication, studies, creative self-expression during several months. That's until next June, actually. Also for some of you, through relationships with siblings and soul brothers or sisters, it can also be working like that, where your world is expanded through them. over these many months to come. And from the 23rd, you'll be compromising, or a partnership or professional relationship could demand more attention or commitment. But just to mention about Saturn, now Saturn has been in your opposite sign for a very long time, about 2.5 years. And that has meant over that time that you've been challenged by those, you know, in close relationship, but also maybe work type people as well. So just for you to know that this energy is leaving that area pretty soon. If this is September that you're listening to this video, it'll be leaving in October. So and then it'll be going into another area, which I will be giving you some sort of idea about what that other area is. But just for you to know that that particular burden in your life will actually be moving away from there, and then wherever Saturn goes, it puts a burden on us all. But sometimes it's in a position where it's a bit heavier than others. So anyway, it will be leaving in October, and it will be moving into the next area. So we'll be speaking about that in October. And that's it now for September for you, Aries. And if you are not on my website already, go there, and then you'll see what is happening, or what has been happening with Saturn and the other slow-moving planets. And also for the forecast, you might like to find your rising sign and your moon sign. And even though the dates aren't going to be as precise as with the sun sign, for reasons which I'll try to explain in another video if I ever get around to making that sort of video for all of the signs. But the dates, don't put too much weight on the dates I give, as you can with the sun sign. But the moon sign and the rising sign, if you know what they are anyway, they will give you some more information about what may be coming up over September. And I wish you well, and I'll see you the next time.